Are you guys ready for a murder mystery? I definitely am. So hello everybody, my name is EK and welcome back to the Old School Runescape series. So this quest I know very little about, but I have heard one thing, and that is that apparently the person who did the murdering, because I mean it's a murder mystery, so it's going to be clear it's going to be a murderer, right? And I am aware that the murderer is like randomized or something, so I won't know before I start the quest who I'm going to get. I don't even know if guides help a lot in this one, or if there's like a very easy way to see like, hey, you've got these steps in there, so it's going to be this murder or something. So I don't even know if I wanted to grab a guide, if I could grab a guide, but I do know that there's going to be different outcomes, so it's going to be really cool to see, you know, how the quest uses the fact that it's sort of randomized. Anyway, let's open up this gate. I haven't been in here as far as I'm aware. We passed this as we went north up to the dwarven area, but we haven't actually been over here yet. Let's talk to this guard because he supposedly starts the quest. What's going on here? Oh, it's terrible. Lord Sinclair has been murdered and we don't have any clues as to who or why. We're totally baffled. If you can help us, we will be very grateful. Yes, let's start the murder mystery quest. Sure, I'll help. Thanks a lot. What should I be doing to help? Look around and investigate who might be responsible. The Sarge said every murder leaves clues to who done it. But frankly, we're out of our depth here. I mean, we are professionals. We are investigators. We are detectives. Let's go over to Murder Mystery and see what the quest presents us with. Lord Sinclair, a prominent nobleman, has been horribly murdered at his mansion. The guards have been sent to investigate his murder, but have been completely stuck. One of the guards has asked me for my help in solving the murder. I should examine the crime scene very closely for evidence and interrogate everybody in the area carefully. Okay, so I'm guessing today is going to be a lot of just wandering around, talking to NPCs, trying to piece things together. Very low action, but very high on the dialogue, I reckon. So the quest is it's going to be short length, but you know, as we've talked about before, the length is really determined by how many steps are in there if you know what you're doing. And because I won't know what I'm doing and I'm talking to a lot of NPCs, I'm going to be expecting this quest to be a fairly long one for me, specifically going through it blind. And yeah, with that in mind, I'll try and keep the ramblings to a slightly lesser degree than I will often do in shorter quests. So let's talk to Bob and see what he has to say. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. I suppose I had better talk to you then. So, who do you think was responsible? Let's first ask the broad question. I don't really care as long as no one thinks it's me. Maybe it was that strange poison seller who headed towards the Seers village. A poison seller? I mean, to be fair, poison sellers would be a very notable culprit when it comes to murdering someone. However, that is too much on the nose, don't you think? So, where were you when the murder happened? I was walking by myself in the garden. And can anyone vouch for that? No, but I was. Okay. So we can investigate the Sinclair family fountain. A fountain with large numbers of insects around the base. Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe there's like a murder weapon in there or something, like a bloodied knife. Although I guess it wouldn't be very much bloodied anymore after being in a fountain for quite some time. Plus it's raining. It's perfect weather for a nice murder mystery. It's kind of miserable outside here as well, so that's perfect. Let's talk to Pierre. You know, this guy sounds French to me. He must be the culprit. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. How can I help? Who do you think is responsible? Oh, by the way, I went on vacation to France, so that was a joke, okay? It was a lovely vacation. So, who do you think is responsible? Honestly, I think it was Carol. I saw her in a huge argument with Lord Sinclair in the library the other day. It was something to do with stolen books. She definitely seemed upset enough to have done it afterwards. Okay, some discussion over books with Lord Sinclair. But would a discussion about books really result in murder? I think that's a big jump. So, where were you at the time of the murder? I was in town at the inn. When I got back, the house was swarming with guards who told me that what had happened. Sorry. Did you hear any suspicious noises at all? Well, like what? Any sounds of a struggle with Lord Sinclair? I mean, to be fair, he arrived after the murder had already been committed, right? So why would we ask him about noises when he wasn't here during the murder, based on his story? No, I don't remember hearing anything like that. How about the guard dog barking at all? I hear him bark all the time. It's one of his favorite things to do. I can't say I did the night of the murder, though, as I wasn't close enough to hear either way. Okay, so at least he's consistent with his own story. Like, I think one of the best ways to see if someone is like making things up as you go is just like try and dive in deeper and deeper into their story and see if they poke holes in their own story, because the deeper you go, the more you have to remember in terms of the lie, the more effort the lie is going to cost you, and you know, the easier it's going to be to trip up. As you approach the gate, the guard dog starts barking loudly at you. There is no way an intruder could have committed the murder. It must have been someone the dog knew to get past it quietly. Good to know. So, that means it might not be the poison seller. Now, the thing is, we don't really know about the poison seller. We don't know whether he was a, you know, person who was here frequently. Like, did he come by every day, sell some poison for whatever reason? Or was it a one-time visit, someone the dog did not know? So, the poison seller is, in that sense, less likely. We can talk to the guard again, and we can ask, how did Lord Sinclair die? Well, it's all very mysterious. Mary, the maid, found the body in the study next to his bedroom on the east wing of the ground floor. The door was found locked from the inside, and he seems to have been stabbed, but there was an odd smell in the room. Frankly, I am stumped. Okay, guys, hear me out. It was a demon who can come into the room without opening up the door and left a sulfurous smell, because that's what demons do, right? They leave a sulfurous smell. At least that's what the show Supernatural has told me. So it was either a demon or a ghost, but it was a supernatural phenomenon that came into the room, murdered him, stabbed him in the back, and then left again, leaving a foul stench. We can investigate the Sinclair family beehive. It's a very old beehive. Alright. What about the compost heap? Anything to do with the compost heap? It's a heap of compost. Thank you very much, game. You're teaching me a ton right now. And this mention drain says it's the drains from the kitchen. And I guess that's everyone outside. Let's talk to Stanford over here, who is in this little shed area. Hello, Stanford. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. How can I help? So who do you think is responsible? It was Anna. She is seriously unbalanced. She trashed the garden once and then tried to blame it on me. I bet it was her. It's just the kind of thing she'd do. She really hates me and was arguing with Lord Sinclair about trashing the garden a few days ago. Okay, so everyone seems to be having heated discussions with Lord Sinclair. He seems to be someone who is very easy to get heated at. And where were you at the time of the murder? Right here. By my little shed. It's very cozy to sit and think in. Okay. And did you hear any noises? Not that I remember. No sounds of a struggle between Lord Sinclair and an intruder? Not to the best of my recollection. How about the guard dog barking? Not that I can recall. Okay, so no one has so far heard anything. No one has so far heard anything about the dog potentially barking. So we can't really piece things together yet, but we really got to keep in mind what they've said and where the stories start to differ. Because that's where I think you can really learn where the true story might lie. So let's go outside in. So let's talk to Anna, who was talked about as being a potential murderer. And let's ask her. Oh, she says, oh, really? What do you want to know then? So who do you think was responsible? It was clearly an intruder. However, we have just established, based on the fact that the guard dog's area said so, that the dog must have barked unless it was someone he knew. However, we haven't determined whether there was barking, have we? So in that sense, she might still be correct. Well, I don't think it was. It was one of our lazy servants then. So she's just kind of throwing shade, like, oh, this idea doesn't work, I'll go to the next one. It's kind of like, you know, you're playing an online game and someone is playing bad and then they make a good play and you're like, okay, wait, hold on. Who else is playing bad? Now, who else can I blame? Because you can never blame yourself. That's impossible, guys. That's impossible. You never blame yourself. You're too good at this game. All right, so where were you when the murder happened? In the library. No one else was there, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I mean, she was in the library. Wait, hold on. Was Anna the person who was in the library with Lord Sinclair talking about some book discussion? And then maybe Sinclair left and Anna stayed behind in the library? Anna was that, right? Like the one that Pierre was talking about, I think? Alright, let's talk to Hobbs. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. How can I help? So who do you think is responsible? Well, in my considered opinion, it must be David. The man is nothing more than a bully, and I happen to know that poor Lord Sinclair and David had a massive argument in the living room about the way he treats the staff. The other day, I did not intend to overhear the conversation, but they were shouting so loudly I could not help but overhear it. David definitely used the words, "I am going to kill you," as well. I think he should be the prime suspect. He has a nasty temper, that one. Alright, so David... I don't think we've talked to David yet, I think. Because this is Stanford. And over there I can't see, but there was Pierre, and there was like... I think it was like an easy name, like Bob or something. I don't know. So, where were you at the time of the murder? I was assisting the cook with the evening meal. I gave Mary his lordship's dinner and sent her to take it to him. Then I heard a scream as she found the body. And he was found... next to his bedroom, right? Also, we see criminal's dagger over there on the floor. Isn't this quest, is this add-on kind of ruining things in this quest potentially? Maybe a little bit, but it still doesn't really destroy the quest, I think, so it should be fine. Did you hear any suspicious noises at all? How do you mean, suspicious? Any sound of a struggle with Lord Sinclair? No, I definitely didn't hear anything like that. How about the guard dog barking at all? You know, now you come to mention it, I don't believe I did. I suppose that is proof enough that it could not have been an intruder who is responsible. Okay, so multiple people seem to have pointed out not hearing the dog, which pretty much confirms, because it's multiple different sources, and only one is the murderer, it pretty much confirms that it's someone in here. This is the David guy, by the way, the guy with the bad temper. Is there anyone in here? I guess we can... check out these things, well, like open the drawers and stuff. The drawers are empty. Okay. Anna's barrel is here. There's something shiny hidden at the bottom. You take Anna's silver necklace. Oh. I don't know what I want a silver necklace for, but we have it. Can I talk to her and ask about... No, I can't. Unless I can use it on Anna. Well, probably not, right? No, okay. Let's talk to Louisa, who seems to be, based on the attire, probably the help. How can I help? Who do you think is responsible? Elizabeth. Just straight up, Elizabeth. No further discussion, Elizabeth. Okay. Her father confronted her about her constant petty thieving and was devastated to find she had stolen a silver needle which had meant a lot to him. You could hear their argument from Lumbridge. So where were you at the time of the murder? I was right here with Hobbs and Mary. You can't suspect me, surely? But what about the dog? I want to know about the dog. Did you hear the dog barking? Any suspicious noises? Suspicious? What do you mean suspicious? Any sounds of a struggle with an intruder, for example? No, I'm sure I don't recall any such thing. How about the guard dog? No, I didn't. If you don't have anything else to ask, can you go and leave me alone now? I have a lot of cooking to do for this evening. You know, cutting off an investigator in a murder case is probably one of the easiest ways to get yourself on the suspect list. Because at that point, you know, just take those like 5 to 10 minutes, answer the questions, and then move on with your life. You know, it's so easy. Also, who's this? Is that an elf? Those are elven ears, aren't they? Is it like an elf traveling? I think it is. Right, there is a kitchen here as well. Take from barrel of flour. Oh, I can put it into a bowl, and then I can get flour here by not having to make flour. Okay, we can go upstairs in a bit as well, but first I want to explore the bottom floor. So let's check out this area. Okay, so in this room is going to be the criminal's dagger. This knife doesn't seem sturdy enough to have killed Lord Sinclair. Oh, okay. And a pungent pot. It seems like Lord Sinclair was drinking from this before he died. Was he... I mean, this kind of reinforces the idea that there was poison in the pungent pot. There was a dagger, but the dagger didn't actually kill him. Maybe he was dying of poison and someone was looking to save him in some way by removing the poison, cutting him open with a knife or a dagger. I don't know, guys. I'm just gonna trying to piece something together over here. Alright, Frank, let's talk. Good for you. Now, what do you want? And can you spare me any money? I'm a little short. You don't just ask for money. We would never do that thing we did in the last video where we talked to the girl in the house and asked her to give us money. We would never do that. So who do you think was responsible? No, I don't know. You don't know how long it takes an inheritance to come through, do you? I could really use that money pretty soon. Wait, is he the son of the guy who was murdered? Because this is a clear case of being very much guilty. Well, at least looks like being very much guilty. So where were you when the murder happened? I don't know. Somewhere around here, probably. Could you spare me a few coins? I'll be able to pay you double tomorrow. It's just there's this poker night tonight in town. I mean, here you go. Oh, I can't give him money. Okay. Let's talk to this guard. Oh, this is the same guard, I think. Or at least a guard with the same dialogue. Alright, let's talk to David, the angry guy, the guy with a temper. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. And, make this quick, I have better things to do than be interrogated by half-wits all day. So who do you think was responsible then? I don't really know or care. Frankly, the old man deserved to die. There was a suspicious red-headed man who came to the house the other day, selling poison, now I think about it. Last I saw, he was headed towards the tavern in the CS village. Okay. And where were you? That is none of your business. Are we finished now, or are you just going to stand there irritating me with your idiotic questions all day? Alright, so he definitely doesn't want to talk to us too much, but that is fine, because we will continue our investigation. There is also a scrap of paper on the floor. The note says, remember to blow out candles when you leave the room to save energy. Alright, that's kind of like turning off the heating before you leave the house. Oh, we can also search these bookcases. But there's nothing in there that we want to read right now. Okay, let's head up the stairs. So here is Carol. Well, ask what you want to know then. So who do you think was responsible? I don't know. I think it's very convenient that you have arrived here so soon after it happened. Maybe it was you. I mean, that's a good question, but I can promise you it wasn't. Guys, I have documentation. I have videos proving it was not me. I promise. I promise. Please, you have to believe me, please. So, where were you? Why? Are you accusing me of something? You seem to have a very high opinion of yourself. I was in my room, if you must know, alone. We heard that she was elsewhere, right? From one of the NPCs. But, at the same time, we don't know if that fight that she had, I believe she had a fight with Sinclair, that was simultaneous with the murder, or if that was a separate moment in time. Also, I am a bit curious to see whether there's any updates in the quest. I have taken the murder weapon. I think it might help me. I have a strange smelling pot. It seems like a clue. Okay. Well, before we do anything, let's just continue exploring, searching all these barrels, which we should really do. There's something hidden at the bottom. You take David's silver book. Silver necklace. And a silver book. What if I take Carol's barrel? There's Carol's silver bottle. There's all kinds of silver artifacts here, or silver items here. Is there a reason why everything here is silver? Alright, let's talk to Mary. How can I help? Who do you think is responsible? Oh, I don't know. Frank was acting kind of funny after that big argument him and the Lord had the other day by the beehive. So, I guess maybe him, but it's really scary to think someone here might have been responsible. I actually hope it was a burglar. It means that makes sense, you don't want to think about the fact that the people in your house, there might be at least a singular murderer amongst them. Where were you? I was with Hobbs and Louisa in the kitchen, helping to prepare Lord Sinclair's meal, and then when I took it to his study, I saw... Oh, it was horrible. She seems to be on the verge of crying. You decide not to push her for any more details. I mean, that's a good tactic, right? Just like acting extremely emotional and being like, I can't continue anymore. I can't continue anymore. You must subscribe to this channel, please. Did that work? All right, what about the suspicious noises? I don't really remember hearing anything out of the ordinary. No sounds of a struggle then? No, I don't remember hearing anything like that. How about the guard dog barking? Oh, that horrible dog is always barking at nothing, but I don't think I did. Okay, so every single person we've asked so far has said that they did not hear the dog barking, which only confirms that the dog was most likely not barking. Unless, guys, wow, that's a voice crack. Unless, imagine if everyone here is responsible and they all had a ploy together to take out Sinclair and share his money or something like that. But I don't think everyone would agree with that. There must be someone who liked him. I don't know how likable he is as a character. There's an address form here as well. The form says, apply now for great savings. Don't let this great deal pass you by. A change of address form. Okay, we can search these bookcases. Okay, again, nothing. He does have a really cool dragon head as a decoration though. I quite enjoy that. We've spoken to Mary already. There's a spider's nest we can investigate. It looks like a spider's nest of some kind. Yes, that's what I thought when I saw a spider's nest. But, you know, talk to Donovan, the family handyman. How can I help? So who do you think is responsible? Oh, I really couldn't say. I wouldn't really want to point any fingers at anybody. If I had to make a guess, I'd have to say it was probably Bob, though. Bob was the guy standing over there at the fountain, I think, right? I saw him arguing with Lord Sinclair about some missing silverware from the kitchen. It was a very heated argument. I mean, we have a bottle, a necklace. Is he being framed? Is that why it's spread across all the different rooms? Okay, so there is a Frank's barrel. Why does everyone have a barrel, by the way, guys? Is that a thing? Do people have barrels in their room? Is this the Barrel family? Is he Sinclair Barrelstein or something? This is Frank's silver pot. More silver. So that means that it wasn't Bob, most likely, because Bob was having a discussion about missing silverware, but I'm assuming this is part of said missing silverware, so it's, I guess it was missing, but spread across all these rooms, and why, we don't know. So Elizabeth, you have been mentioned as a potential suspect. What's so important you need to bother me with it then? So who do you think was responsible? Could have been anyone. The old man was an idiot. He's been asking for it for years. Oh, well, you seem to be quite a friendly lady. And where were you? I was out. Care to be more specific? Not really. I don't have to justify myself to the likes of you, you know. I know the king personally, you know. Now, are we finished here? And what is in your barrel? Elizabeth's silver needle. Wait, there was a discussion about the silver needle, wasn't there? There was a discussion about the silver needle missing somewhere. Yeah, so Louisa says something about Elizabeth being the murderer because she says her father confronted her about her constant petty thieving and was devastated to find she had stolen a silver needle which had meant a lot to him. And indeed, she had the silver needle in her barrel. So the daughter, at least in that sense, was the culprit. Now, does that mean that she would murder him after that? Maybe not. But it was a very heated argument. Plus, she is now like, hey, he deserved to die. So, based on the information so far, I think Elizabeth is my prime suspect. But I think it's very important when talking about a murder case that you don't jump to conclusions unless you have all the facts. So how can we now confirm our potential theory? I can talk to Gossip. I haven't talked to Gossip yet, but this guy seems to be very important. I'm investigating the murder up at the Sinclair place. Murder, is it? Well, I'm not really surprised. Oh, he has a lot more information. Okay, I guess we should have started with this, but, you know, it's going to be a nice bit of additional information now, so maybe it's good that I talk to him right now. So, what can you tell me about the Sinclairs? Well, what do you want to know? Tell me about Lord Sinclair. Old Lord Sinclair was a great man with a lot of respect in these parts, more than his worthless children have anyway. His children, they have something to gain by his death? Yes, you could say that. Not that I'm one to gossip, I mean your name is Gossip, but sure. Okay, so they have a lot to gain, probably monetarily, I reckon. Can you tell me something about why the Sinclairs live so far from town? Well, they used to live in the big castle, but old Lord Sinclair gave it up so that those strange knights could live there instead. So the king built him a new house to the north. It's more cramped than his old place, but he seemed to like it. His children were furious at him for doing it though. So his children seem to be extremely hell-bent on just having money. They did not like moving away from the castle because it was the bigger, the higher value one. And they might have murdered him as well because that would give the money over to them and would give the decision power over to them as well, I can only imagine. So what can you tell me about his sons? His sons, eh? They all have their own skeletons in their cupboards. You'll have to be more specific. Who are you interested in exactly? Tell me about Bob. Guys, there's so much dialogue in this one, but it's a very interesting plot at least. So tell me about Bob. I know there's an evil Bob, right? Bob is an odd character indeed. I'm not one to gossip, but I heard Bob is addicted to tea. He can't make it through the day without having at least 20 cups. Now that's a severe addiction if I've ever heard one. You might not think that's such a big deal, but he has spent thousands of gold to feed his habit, so he would have a reason to get the money from his dad. At one point, he stole a lot of silverware from the kitchen and pawned it just so he could afford to buy his daily tea allowance. Okay, so Bob has pawned it around the house, and that's the reason why every individual person in the house, in their barrel, had some silverware. That was Bob's decision to steal it and then pawn it to be able to buy more tea. If his father ever found out, he would be in so much trouble. He might even get disowned. I mean, maybe he pawned a little bit to his family and then he pawned the rest over, in Sia's village or something. So Bob is shooting to the list of suspects. I feel like this is a quest where I should have had a notepad like I had all the way back in the Prince Ali rescue quest, I do believe, where I could just write down like, Bob did this and that person did this, because it's kind of hard to take mental note of everything, but I'm trying to keep everything kind of straight in my brain right now. So let's ask about David. David? Oh, David. Not many people know this, but David really has an anger problem. He's always screaming and shouting. I mean, we have heard that he did indeed have a bit of an anger fit earlier, around the time of the murder. At the household servant when he's angry, and they live in a state of fear, always walking on eggshells around him, but none of them have the courage to talk to his father about his behavior. If they did, Lord Sinclair would almost certainly kick him out of the house, as some of the servants have been there longer than he has, and he definitely has no right to treat them like he does. But I am not one to gossip about people. And finally, what about Frank? I'm not one to talk ill of people behind their back, but Frank is a real piece of work. He is an absolutely terrible gambler. He can't pass two dogs in the street without putting a bet on which one will bark first. He has already squandered all of his allowance, and I heard he had stolen a number of paintings of his father to try and sell and cover his debts. But he still owes a lot of people a lot of money. If his father ever found out, he would stop his income and then he would be in serious trouble. Okay, so all three sons have a reason to want to get their father's money to be able to deal with their financial troubles. So none of them are really at the top of the suspect list. At least with Bob, with the silverware thing, we have some level of proof that that is in fact true, because this is still gossip, guys, so we don't know if it's all fact, okay? So what can you tell me about his daughters? His daughters, eh? They're all nasty pieces of work. Which one of them specifically did you want to know about? Alright, so 3 more, guys. Let's talk about Anna. Anna. Ah yes, Anna has 2 great loves: sewing and gardening. But one thing she has kept secret is that she once had an affair with Stanford the gardener and tried to get him fired when they broke up, by killing all of the flowers in the garden. If her father ever found out she had done that, he would be so furious he would probably disown her. What about Carol? Oh, Carol, she is such a fool. You didn't hear this from me, but I heard a while ago she was conned out of a lot of money by a traveling salesman who sold her a box full of beans by telling her they were magic. Ah, the classic magic beans. But they weren't. She sold some rare books from the library to cover her debts. But her father would be incredibly annoyed if he ever found out. He might even throw her out of the house. And finally, what about Elizabeth? Elizabeth has a strange problem. She cannot help herself, but is always stealing small objects. It's pretty sad that she is rich enough to afford to buy things, but would rather steal them instead. Now, I don't want to spread stories, but I heard she even stole a silver needle from her father that had great sentimental value for him. He was devastated when it was lost and cried for a week thinking he had lost it. I mean, we have it right here. It was indeed with Elizabeth. If he ever found out that it was her who had stolen it, he would go absolutely mental, maybe even disowning her. it does seem, although these children are terrible, guys, these are 6 terrible children with terrible behavioral problems, it does also seem that if what this guy is saying is correct, the father is very quick to disown someone. Because, you know, if messing up a little bit, having a bit of a temper tantrum gets you disowned, then, you know, maybe that's a reason why they developed these problems in the first place, because they were scared to even deal with their problems and instead hid the problems. Okay, so who do you think was responsible? Well, I guess it could have been an intruder, but with that big guard dog of theirs, I seriously doubt it. I suspect it was someone closer to home. That's what we know so far as well. Especially as I heard that the poison salesman in the CS village made a big sale to one of the family the other day. Oh. So I can say I think the butler did it. And I think you've been reading too many cheap detective novels. Hobbs is kind of uptight, but his loyalty to old Lord Sinclair is beyond question. I am so confused about who did it. Think you could give me any hints? I don't know how much help this is to you, but my dad was in the guard once, and he told me that the marks on your hands are totally unique. He called them fingerprints. He said you can find them easily on any shiny metallic surface by using a fine powder to mark out where the marks are, and then using some sticky paper to lift the print from the object. I bet if you could find a way to get everyone's fingerprints, you could solve the crime pretty easily. How do we go about that? Oh, I guess I haven't searched this barrel yet. This is Bob's silver cup. Okay, so we now have... These are all the things we found in barrels, right? The silver cup, necklace, needle, book, bottle, and the pot. Are there going to be fingerprints on these things? And can I now use some sort of method to get the fingerprints off it? I mean, I know I need like the sticky stuff. I forgot the English word for it, but like the sticky stuff you use to like wrap presents and stuff, and use some sort of like powder to identify the exact fingerprints on all of them, and then contrast those to the one on the criminal's dagger and see if they match. Is that what I'm supposed to do right now? But then what do I need exactly? Where do I get the tools I require? Oh, there's some fly paper in there. Should I take it? Yes, this might be useful. Wait, is this what I need? Is fly paper the stuff? I take a piece of fly paper. There's still plenty of fly paper left. Can I use this on the silver cup, for example? No. On something else? I guess I'll probably need more of this, maybe? I don't know, but I'll keep it here for now. I know where to get it. Do I need to get some powder or something to be able to combine with that? Oh, wait, the barrel of flour. Wait, flour is like a powdery stuff, right? Can I use the flour? Hold on. Can I put it in the pungent pot? You probably shouldn't use evidence from a crime scene to keep flour in. I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but I don't have a pot. Okay, let me go get a pot from the bank. Okay, so I've taken flour into the pot. Now, can I combine that with the fly paper? Can I combine it with the silver cup? The cup is now coated with a thin layer of flour. Okay. So, am I to use that on all of these things? All of these silver things, at least? Can I also use it on the criminal's dagger? I can. What about the pungent pot? You sprinkle a small amount of flour on the strange-smelling pot. The surface isn't shiny enough to take a fingerprint from. Do I need to make it more shiny? I don't know. Anyway, I have all these items now. Can I now use fly paper on these things? Elizabeth's print. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, let me go through all of these and get the fingerprints. Okay, so I now have Bob's print, Elizabeth's print, Anna's print, Carol's print, David's print, and Frank's print. And this is an unknown print. And this one I got from the criminal's dagger. So why is it unknown? Can't I match these? Wait, hold on. The fingerprints are an exact match to David's. Oh! The killer's print, and it's David. Wait, but I guess I just clicked the right one, because I was thinking like if I could like compare them, but I guess I clicked the correct one immediately. So this means David is the murderer. Wait, is it done now? Is that it? Hold on, can I go back to the guard and just say like, hey, David's the murderer? I know who did it. I have the fingerprints of the culprits. But to be fair, is that sufficient proof? I have David's fingerprints here. You can see for yourself they match the fingerprints on the murder weapon exactly. You surely guard the fingerprint evidence. I'm impressed. How on earth did you think of something like that? I've never heard of such a technique for finding criminals before. This will come in very handy in the future, but we can't arrest someone on just this. I'm afraid you'll still need to find more evidence before we can close this case completely. Okay, so let's see what the quest log says now. Does it give us any more information that we might be able to do something with? No, but there's the strange smelling pot still. We can't take fingerprints from the pot, but I guess what we can do is we can go back to the Sears village and ask the poison seller, whoever that might be, whether he knows who he sold this pot to, and if he also confirms that it's David, then maybe that is sufficient evidence. However, I don't know who the poison seller is. My guess will be the pub, because that's where you meet people, where you can meet potential people you can sell stuff to. Oh, wait, hold on, this is a poison salesman. Oh, I guess I found him. I'm investigating the murder at the Sinclair house. There was a murder at the Sinclair house? That's terrible. And I was only there the other day too. They bought the last of my patented multi-purpose poison. So, patented multi-purpose poison? Ah, a miracle of modern apothecaries. This exclusive concoction has been tested on all known forms of life and has been proven to kill them all in varying dilutions from cockroaches to king dragons. So incredibly versatile, it can be used as pest control, a cleansing agent, drain cleaner, metal polish, and a wash whiter than white. All with our uniquely fragrant concoction that is immediately recognizable across the land as Peter Potter's patented poison potion. Breathing. The salesman stops for breath. I had to do the same thing. Yeah, I should become a poison salesman, guys. You know what? Why am I trying to be a YouTuber when I can just become a poison salesman? I think I have found my passion. I would love to sell you some, but I've sold out recently. That's just how good it is. 328 people in this area alone cannot be wrong. 9 out of 10 poisoners prefer it in controlled tests. Can I help you with anything else? Perhaps I can take your name and add it to our mailing list of poison users. We will only send you information related to the use of poison and other Peter Potter products. This is so much like I'm talking to a company and this is their attempt to try and pull me in. No, it's okay, really. Okay, we can talk to him again though, more information. Who did you sell poison to at the house? Well, Peter Potter's patented multi-purpose poison. I have to be very careful not to blow people's ears up with the P's all over the place, is a product of such obvious quality that I am glad to say I managed to sell a bottle to each of the Sinclairs. Anna, Bob, Carol, David, Elizabeth, and Frank all bought a bottle. In fact, they bought the last of my supplies. Maybe I can take your name and address, and I will personally come and visit you when stock return. No, it's okay. But let's see an address change form. Was that his form? So can I buy some poison? I mean, we kind of already know that we can't buy it because he ran out of stock, right? I'm afraid I am totally out of stock at the moment after my successful trip to the Sinclair's house the other day. But don't worry, our factories are working overtime to produce Peter Potter's patented multi-purpose poison. Possibly the finest multi-purpose poison and cleaner yet available to the general market. And its unique fragrance makes it the #1 choice for cleaners and exterminators the whole country over. Guys, are you also feeling a sudden desire to buy poison? Should I get a poison affiliate link, guys? Should I just have some poison company sponsor me and have an affiliate link for poison? I think that'd be fitting. I have this pot I found at the murder scene. You show the poison salesman the pot you found at the murder scene with the unusual smell. Yes, that smells exactly like my PMPP. But I don't see how it could be. It quite clearly says on the label of all the bottles, not to be taken internally. Extremely poisonous. Perhaps someone else put it in his wine. Yes, I suppose that could have happened. Okay, so we got some information that everyone bought poison. Can I now go confront David maybe and tell him, I know you bought poison, I know you poisoned your dad, spill the beans, and I'm not talking about the previously mentioned magic beans, but just spill the beans of the story. Alright David, we must talk. Why'd you buy poison the other day? There was a nest of spiders upstairs between the two servants' quarters. Obviously, I had to kill them before our pathetic servant whined at my father some more. Honestly, it's like they expect to be treated like royalty. If I had my way, I would fire the whole work-shy lot of them. Okay, so he used it on the spiders upstairs. Now, we did see the spiders upstairs before, and they were still there. Can we in some way figure out whether it is still, like, very much alive? There's a spider's nest here. You estimate there must be at least a few hundred spiders ready to hatch. It's certainly clear nobody's used poison here. Alright, we go back to David. David, come on, man. You gotta take care of the spiders, man. Come on! The ladies will be scared. Let me kick in the door and talk to you again. Okay, so that doesn't work. What if I now go back to the guard and tell him that I once again still know that David did it? I have proof one of the family lied about the poison. Oh, really? How did you get that? You tell the guard about the spider's nest. That's some good detective work there. We need more evidence before we can close the case though. Keep up the good work. Can I now also once again maybe use the fingerprints? We've had this before. Is this sufficient? Okay, so we're still missing more evidence. It's gonna be a third. Wait, not recipe for disaster. I'm so used to looking up recipe for disaster that I just randomly looked that up. No, I'm looking up murder mystery. Recipe for disaster, by the way, of course, will be returning in the next video because just to very quickly catch you up, you know, as we're here anyway. The Lumbridge Guide requires all of these quests, all of which I have done now, except for murder mystery, which is of course why we're here today, so that in a couple of days you guys can see me do the next step of recipe for disaster. But for now, let's see if we can figure out this next and maybe final piece. Oh, the hive now says the hive is empty. There are a few dead bees and a faint smell of poison. So is this how you would confirm that the guy who says he's used it on the beehive was in fact correct? And in my personal outcome, because I know there's going to be different outcomes based on, you know, which version of the quest you get. In my version, David is the culprit. But how do we prove that? I mean, I have the fingerprints. I have the murder weapon, so like I can prove he's the murderer. I can prove he didn't use the poison on the thing he says he's used the poison on. What else can I do to even further prove that he is the murderer? Oh, investigate smashed window. Some thread seems to have been caught on a loose nail of the window. Criminal's thread. Wait, there's a green thread. David's clothing. Oh, so indeed he went into this room, into the library. By going here, he's an insider, so the dog didn't catch him. That all adds up. Okay. I guess that's the third piece of evidence we require then. So once again, go back to the guard and see if this is sufficient. I know who did it. I have conclusive proof who the killer was. You do? That's excellent work. Let's hear it then. I don't think it was an intruder, and I don't think Lord Sinclair was killed by being stabbed. Really? Why not? Nobody heard the guard dog barking, which it would have if it had been an intruder who was responsible. Nobody heard any signs of a struggle either. I think the knife was there to throw suspicion away from the real culprits. Yeah, that makes sense, but who did it then? You prove to the guard the thread matches David's clothes. Yes, I'd have to agree with that, but we need some more evidence. Guys, just a quick word of advice here. If you ever commit a murder, okay? Don't commit murders, by the way, but if you ever do commit a murder, make sure that if your clothing is torn and you might have left some of your clothing behind, burn that clothing. Burn it. Like, don't have it be led back to you. Once again, don't murder people, but if you ever do, you know, think about what I've just said to you. You know, take that into account and don't get caught, okay? I'd have to agree with that, but we need more evidence. Don't worry, it's like, but wait, there's more. You prove to the guard that David did not use poison on the spider's nest. Excellent work. Have you considered a career as a detective? But I'm afraid it's still not quite enough. Guys, I actually do very much enjoy the detective kind of gameplay. I've kind of grown fond of it in the past couple of years, really. Haven't really played many games in the genre, but I'm starting to enjoy them more and more, especially as a piece of content to cover, because I like rambling about my thoughts, and I think murder mysteries are a perfect way to ramble your way through, because the breaking down what you're thinking, what might be happening, who might be the murderer, I think that's the core aspect of the quest, so like it works really well with my way of approaching these quests, I think. Anyway, you match David's fingerprints with those on the dagger found in the body of Lord Sinclair. Yes, there's no doubt about it. It must have been David who killed his father. All of the guards must congratulate you on your excellent work in helping us to solve this case. We don't have many murders here in Gillinor, and I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to solve it by ourselves. We will hold him here under house arrest until such time as we bring him to trial. You have our gratitude, and I am sure the rest of the family as well, in helping to apprehend the murderer. I'll just take the evidence from you now. You hand over all the evidence. There we go, the inventory has been cleansed. Please accept this reward from the family. Here we go. Murder mystery is done. We get 3 quest points, 1.4k crafting experience, 2,000 coins. The rewards, don't care about them too much. But this does unlock the next step of a recipe for disaster. So going off the recipe for disaster once again. Here we go, Lumbridge Guide is now accessible. So next time, guys, we will be playing this. But overall, I have to say, this quest as a standalone quest was very, very much enjoyable. I think this kind of quest works extremely well within RuneScape's overall quest design. You know, RuneScape, and I've heard other content creators mention it as well, RuneScape is very much an MMO that is played as a point-and-click adventure game. And I think if you treat it as such, then at least this part of the game, just treat it like a visual novel, treat it like a point-and-click adventure game, don't treat it like an MMO, and this kind of quest clicks so perfectly, because you're trying to piece together little bits of information, you're trying to talk to NPCs, you know, you unlock new dialogue options by gathering more information. I think it worked so well, and honestly I have to say, this quest was extremely well written. It wasn't too long, it didn't overstay the welcome to the point where it became really annoying. The steps were not super easy, but they also were not super convoluted. It was mostly click on everything, and at some point, like, something will click if you have some functioning brain cells. So I think it was a perfect balance of length, of difficulty, and witty writing. I just very much enjoyed it. I felt like I was playing an episode in like some sort of detective TV show, and I think that's the best I can hope to achieve. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll also, you know, if you haven't yet, please press that subscribe button, guys. My subscriber number has just been like going up and down between 911 and 914 for like a month now. It's actually the lowest it's been in like a month. So, you know, if you haven't pressed that button, but you do enjoy the content, help me get to the 1K mark. So, you know, press that little button down there. I would very much appreciate that. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye, guys.